Oh, good. Yes, I can share the screen. Look at that.
What are you trying to share?
I can share the screen with people. Um, so I was going to show them ShipStation.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
going to show them what ShipStation looks like, and then start video. I was going to also show them the emails that people get. You know, automated emails through ShipStation,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think that was it. Just those two things. Hey everyone.
Hey,
How's everyone doing this week?
good here.
Good.
I just joined. Can you hear me? It's Patty Seeley.
Yeah, sure can hear you, Patty. Good to
How
have
are
you. Oh, there's David.
Yeah.
What's up, David?
I had to figure out how to turn all the stuff on. So
I got somebody figuring for me over here.
Somebody's got a figure for you.
That's for sure.
tell you that the new age has left me by. So I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up.
I can do more than she thinks, but she won't let me anyway, so that's okay.
You have
Most of the time, she probably don't want to go back and fix it. That's the way mine are. They just say, I'd rather do it. I can do it faster if I just do it right the first time. So
That's probably a whole lot of. But see, we know how to make it that way, you know? Mess it up a couple times, they won't let you do it anymore.
well, that's why I always say if you get too good at something, they'll make you do it. So I always do it half wrong. So they say, well, just let me do it. Okay.
Y'all are wrong. Just wrong. So wrong.
What time is it?
7:01.
Were you able to order sheetrock?
Well, do you want to get started, Dad?
Yep, I will.
Okay. Let me.
We were late last time, so.
Oh.
How big, did they figure it out? They did the math?
No, we went in there and we're doing one at a time, so otherwise it's too much sheetrock inside. So we'll do the lid first, and then once the ceiling's done, then we'll order the wall stuff, or like right as it's
Too much weight.
What will happen? Nothing. Okay. Mute. Mute that.
What do you do?
Leave. Sorry. So I have plans to show y'all our delivery trailer, and I was gonna do it with my cell phone, but obviously I'm gonna have to join when I go outside, because otherwise it copies all the sound. So this week we decided to talk about shipping and delivery of your products to your customers. We have done both. We have and we still continue to do both. We have a delivery trailer that we use to deliver bulk orders, and we also ship now too, which we ship the greatest majority of our products. Let's see. Okay, so we're starting with delivery. So delivery is a great option, even if the majority of your stuff is in, shipping. If you're wanting to do large bulk orders, which we still like those, because like David said earlier in the series, a lot of that is just automatic cash in the bank. Whereas it takes a few days to see your return from stuff that you ship, because it has to go through your credit card processor, and then you have to take out your shipping costs and all that stuff. But with the bulk orders, it's automatic. Whatever you pick up from the customer, as far as, you know, credit card sales, cash, whatever it is, for the order, it's automatically goes into your bank account or is in your hand. So we like that because it's just and it's another outlet for us to get rid of large quantities of beef pretty fast. It's just, we find it a nice complement to our shipping. So delivery works especially well for whole, half, and quarter orders, you know, bulk orders, because you can deliver a larger quantity at one time, whereas shipping it kind of starts to negate your cost of shipping it when you start sending so much. Also, another thing that we have, actually people don't take advantage of a lot because we do a lot of shipping, but we offer free delivery even if it's just one steak if you meet us at one of our delivery locations. So it is possible for you to still do delivery, still have that interaction with your customers, and it saves you, we calculated it at about $40 a box. It saves you that amount of money if you can get enough orders together and take it to the delivery location. And it won't be $40 for every shipment. It'll be $40 for, you know, across the board, average out, you know. But we save the money on the box. We save the money, or maybe it was 27 something.
It's like $27.
Okay, never mind. It's $27. You save the money on the box, the shipping, all of it. And if you have enough orders together, you know, you end up spending a few dollars on gasoline and your time to get down there per order instead of, you know, the cost of the box and the shipping and all that. So it can be very good for people who have a regular route to have small orders and then just deliver those small orders on a regular schedule at set delivery locations. So it can work out very, very well if that's the way you want to work your business. Let's see. I guess I'm going to go outside and show y'all our delivery trailer. Do any of y'all have any questions about why you would choose to do delivery over shipping? No? Okay.
How many animals do you deliver and produce a year?
This last year, we probably delivered close to 20 animals.
Oof.
Yeah.
We try to do 200 a year, Patty.
Wow.
Together.
Yeah, altogether, we try and do 200 a year. We delivered 20 this last year.
Where are you getting them processed?
We have a processor over in Westphalia that we really like. We also use a custom exempt processor too in Marlin. But we like them a lot.
What's a custom exempt?
It's a county certified. So they're not state certified or USDA certified. Custom exempt, just they're overseen by the county. They have to
can label and sell it.
So the way you get around that is you sell shares of the animal. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're not selling them packaged beef. We're selling them a portion of a live animal. And we don't necessarily make sure that that's a huge distinction, but we do always, whenever a customer chooses to use a custom, you know, use our custom exempt processor, because we can give them a break on it because the custom exempt is cheaper. We also always make sure that they do understand that this is not a USDA certified processor, but they do have to follow the same rules as a USDA certified processor. The only difference is they don't have to have a inspector there on site every day that they're cutting beef and killing. So
that's the rules for Texas. It may
yes,
be different than all other states.
It definitely may be different for all the other states. So make sure that whenever you're choosing your processor, that you do some research, talk to your county extension agent, and figure out what you have to do for your state.
My processor is eating me alive.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's really expensive for
Yeah.
labeling and USDA, and so I've got to find another route.
Okay. Yeah, ours is really reasonable. They run a really good business there. We like the people. You know, it's just, we just got really lucky that they're really close to us.
Be sure you don't change, end a relationship with that processor before you find another one, because they are really hard to find and few and far between.
Amen.
So you want to make sure you have a plan B before you say, you're just, you're robbing me, so I'm going to go somewhere else.
No, I
But
agree
what
with
is
you.
your processor charging?
$1.25 a pound.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
as a lot.
Yeah,
That's almost
Yeah.
robbing you.
Yeah, that's about 15 cents more a pound than what we pay for our USDA processor. So it's
Ours is broke up a little bit. It's 72 cents a pound hanging weight, but then there's a $50 kill fee and a $15 disposal fee per
oh
head.
yeah, I got that. I got the kill and disposal fee too on top of that.
Wow.
yeah, I
And
had
you
said
should look for Plan B.
$1.17, but we include the kill fee and everything in that because we average it out over all the animals. But yeah, that's
Well, we get some custom cuts too.
We
They charge
do.
more for us.
Okay.
okay. I'm gonna head out to the delivery trailer. Y'all continue to talk about.
You get back.
So does anybody know anybody close to East Texas that is a little cheaper?
I don't. I think there's one in Lindale over by Tyler that I like them pretty good. I've had some done over there when we got behind last year, and they did us a real good job. But I'm trying to remember the name of it. I have to look it up. I can get it to you.
Okay, thanks.
They're USDA.
There was one in Tyler, Texas that was really good, but like I said, that was years ago. So I don't know if they're still in operation, or they may be more expensive now too.
It may be the same one we're talking about. They've been there for about 50 years. So I think they're over by Lindale, which is Tyler. It's all the same place anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's Lynn. She's gonna show y'all our trailer that we deliver beef in, and like the halves and whole cows. She delivers 2 or 3 at the time sometimes.
Is this to restaurants or who takes halves and wholes? Or is it cut up halves and wholes?
They're cut up. They're processed already and all in packages, but we got several customers that buy every year, like as far as Abilene, 300 miles away. And even in Oklahoma, which, it's 300 miles there too, but we like meet them halfway or something like that. They're buying a lot. So she delivered 2 out to somebody who lives in Abilene a few days ago. I think
Are
they
these
know where-
carcasses these carcasses your pure Aberdeens, or are you crossing them with something else?
A lot of them are pure Aberdeens, but some of them are Angus crosses too. And
Okay.
some of them have a little bit of San Gertrudis in them, but I really do like the 3/4 cows with Angus in them. That really works good for us, and the higher percentage.
Yeah, and I'm doing 3/4 with Wagyu.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready to talk about the delivery trailer?
Yes.
Okay. So just to give y'all a real quick tour, we use a delivery trailer when we make deliveries. This is it. It's just a flat fronted cargo trailer. We have a generator hooked to the front. It supports 110 and I think 220. Yes, it does. Supports 110 and 220. It's mounted on the front, and it rides along nice and smooth. We had our friend of ours who's a welder put it on. So that we got going on back here. So we kind of leave it propped open to keep the moisture down in it. But as you can, 3 freezers in it. And we got pretty large capacity for delivery. I think last time we had this thing fully loaded, we could put 2.5 whole beefs in it, or 2.5 beefs in it. So it's pretty good capacity. And we just hook it up behind the truck, start the generator and go. Does anybody have any questions about that?
So Lynn, do you guys haul boxes whenever you're trying to sort those halves out to the customers, or how do you transfer them?
Yes, so we started out with using our custom exempt processor does not box for us. So we would carry bankers boxes and they fit nice and easy in here. I wish I had one to show y'all, but I don't. We would box them all in bankers boxes and stack them in the trailer. Sorry, let me turn this around. I'm going to go inside and show y'all one of the boxes we have from our USDA processor. They actually box for us and they fit really nicely into the freezers. So one second, walking back over to the office.
And when we do ours, we, like I said, we get it boxed ourselves. We box it ourselves when we pick it up from the processor. So we get it, they have it in racks. We put it in boxes and then deliver straight to the customer. We take it from the processor, drive, it's probably 100 miles from the processor to our delivery spot. But we do it the day we pick all our beef up. So we may pick up 20 head of beef at one time. 10 of them may be halves and wholes, with the remainder of it is ours. So we go to a set location at a set time and meet all the customers at one time. We have done 18 halves in 45 minutes at one spot. And like I said, we made, I think it was, I don't know, $17,000-$18,000, but you got all that money up front. So that helped us pay our processing bill, which they wanted right away, and a couple other expenses. So everything after that for the whole year was already paid for, because we'd already paid for the processing, all that, and then got our money, up front. So that's the advantage of doing it. Like we was talking before, making the deliveries or selling halves and wholes, you can sell some bulk to kind of pay all the bills, and then you can really concentrate on further processing other products, specialty products, and you're working on somebody else's money. Then you've already got, your bills paid for, and you're operating at a better time frame.
How are you advertising for that? How are you getting your customers?
Well, we started our customers through farmers markets and things like that. And then when we had 40 customers buying 1 pound of burger, then after that, they started wanting bigger quantities, quarters. Then they went to halves. Now they went to wholes. And we had one customer that started at a quarter, went to a half, went to a whole. Now he gets 1.5. So I don't know if his kids are getting bigger or what, but he keeps getting more and more beef. So, but we started small and just worked our way up with our cattle. We usually process around 100 head a year.
Well, it's saying that it's 18.
And do halves and wholes, and then products to restaurants, and then to individual cuts as well, to individuals.
Because you're paying interest, right?
What's the average price per pound on the sales?
No.
You don't mind me asking?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm trying to figure out how I get back on this.
I did it all.
Just, it depends on your area, whatever your price, your area can support. We're in a really rural, where everybody has a cow, just like most people have dogs in their backyard. So it's really hard to sell for a premium price, but we get, I think it's $4.75 for a whole or half. We just do one price and sell it that way. And then the individual cuts are just, as much as we can, as a market to stand.
David, you said 475. You're talking a pound, right?
Correct. On the hanging weight.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to show y'all the box we get from our USDA processor real quick, so Dad and I can sit back down. But it's wide and flat. So,
Just stack in.
and we slide them in and stand them like this in the freezer, which is really, really nice. But they pack them for us while the beef, before the beef is frozen. So they get these boxes, honestly, anywhere from like 25 pounds to 60 pounds. So they can be kind of heavy. But, and they have a smaller size too, but we almost never see them use any of those. Most of the time we just get internals in those.
And they'll split the cow in halves, thirds, quarters, however you want it done with your different customers, if you have it split up.
Yeah, our processor's real good about that.
So
Where do you
Patty,
get those boxes?
when you're talking about prices, on our website, our prices average $23.25 a pound. And we sell it all through social media. We don't sell our bulk beef for that much. It's all on there. What we get for it's all on our website, mesquitecountrybeef.com. You could look it up real easy and see all that, what we sell it for. And
What was the name again?
mesquitecountrybeef.com.
Mesquite.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where do you get those boxes? Or where do they get them?
I don't know where they get them, honestly. I know our shipping boxes, which we'll go over later, we get from Uline. And the bankers boxes, when we were doing that, the cheapest place I could find to buy them was Walmart. So I would go to Walmart every few days and just buy them out of bankers boxes. And it takes 3 to 4 bankers boxes per quarter if you're doing it that way. And it's a pretty good way, and lots of people were really surprised that we had it boxed for them. I guess though they expected us to just show up with a whole bunch of individual cuts in a cooler or something. Everybody was always like, oh wow, you have a freezer in a trailer. It's like, yes, we do.
we use the trailer for more than, we use it to pick up beef too. We can pull up to the processor and they roll a pallet out there with all our beef on pallets. And in 10 minutes, you can have it all transferred into the trailer, into freezers, from their freezer right to our freezer. We only have a 35-mile drive back home, but we just keep it completely frozen all the time. You never have to worry about any of that stuff.
The freezers that you have in your trailer, how did you secure them to the flooring?
Oh, I guess I should have showed you that. So,
Little
Dad,
piece of 2x4,
yeah, that's
on
nailed
each
to the
side.
floor.
just screwed down to the floor. They don't really bounce around in there or anything, so we've never had any trouble with that.
No, I mean, every once in a while I had trouble with like the freezer bouncing open, but most of the time, 30 seconds later, it's going to bounce back down.
Because you drive too crazy.
I do not drive crazy. But you also, like, a lot of freezers have locks on them too. And when I go long distances, I utilize the locks. A lot of the time, especially because I don't want people snooping in the trailer and then pulling the lids open and stuff. So
On your electrical hookup, do you have a strip inside that you plug in all the freezer? This goes, a straight cord goes out to your generator?
yes, that's exactly how we're doing it right now. I've been after Dad to wire in plugs in the actual trailer itself, but we just haven't gotten to that. But yeah, we have a power strip and we just plug all of the freezers into it, and that we have a pretty heavy duty cord that runs from the power strip, and the power strip is pretty heavy duty too. We have all that just runs out the side of the trailer. It's secured to the side of the trailer so it doesn't all come apart, because I did have that happen once early on where the end of the strip came unplugged from my cord, and I ended up destroying my power cord, having to stop and make repairs on the way to delivery. So But yeah, everything's secured alongside of the trailer, and then it goes up to the other side to plug into the generator.
Okay.
But we do need to direct wire that in.
We don't rush into anything.
It'd make everybody's life a lot easier though.
Only the people that use it.
Uh-huh, only me, right?
What else you got, Lynn?
Okay, so we already kind of talked about the boxes. Definitely, if you're doing delivery, box them for easy handling. You definitely don't want to be rolling up there with a freezer full of individual cuts and trying to transfer cuts over into coolers and stuff. That would be really, really tough on both you and the customer. And if you're going to be doing smaller orders and making deliveries, we don't currently have any right now because we're out and I have an order out, but use insulated totes. They're pretty cheap. You can get them for, $1.50 online if you bulk order them. And you don't have to use super expensive ones because all you're doing is packing the beef in it and then putting it into a freezer or a cooler or something and transporting it. But it kind of just keeps the order, smaller order together. You can label it and it looks nice. And it also helps to keep it insulated while the customer transports it home if they didn't bring the cooler.
Are you getting those through Uline?
No, I get those through bags.com, something like that.
There's a lot of places to buy those.
There's so many
You can
places
get 'em.
online.
Yeah,
You
but
can
this
buy
is
them
Booneyville,
customized.
folks, remember? I'm
I'm
way
sorry?
out there. I'm way out in Booneyville. We don't just get those things. We have to order them online.
I order all of our stuff online, like all of our Uline orders, all of our bags orders, all of our labels. Like I order it all online just because the price of getting it online and then getting it shipped to you is far cheaper than trying to go to the store, except for what I found on Bankers boxes. But I think you can get the same price online at walmart.com on those Bankers boxes.
Okay. Do you have one of those insulated totes to show?
No, I'm out at the moment.
Okay.
We don't really use them that much.
We don't.
Mostly it's all boxed or shipped some kind of way, but
Yeah, I mean, the greatest majority of our deliveries that we make are bulk orders. Most people could choose to have shipping to their house just because our shipping fee is pretty low. We chose to do it that way to encourage people to ship the orders so that I wasn't running the roads as much, and that's actually here on site.
Are you doing dry ice? And where are you getting it?
Yes, we get it from our local grocery store. If we start doing 50 orders a day or something, we'll probably, talk to a supplier around here about getting dry ice brought out every week, but
we have several places around where
Yeah.
we can get it. If one's out, we can get it from another one.
yeah, and there's a couple places that are on my way to FedEx up in Waco. I can grab dry ice from them, headed up that way too, and just finish the last little bit of packing in the car. Which
Lynn,
is
when
not
y'all do your
perfect.
customer orders, do they put the people's name on your order on each package, or do they just
When we have
have-
we have like a custom half or a custom whole. yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they put our name on it and they also put our customer's name on it. So there's no confusion.
That's what ours do too. It makes it really easy because if one gets a different box, it goes in that one. And they really like it because it has their name on it. It's like it's personalized. So
Mhm.
they really excited when we show up and it's got their name on the actual packages.
Yes, exactly.
There's I don't know if anybody's ever ran into it before, but there's this thing with customers that want to know if it was frozen or if it was weighed before it was frozen. When you do the vacuum seal, it's the same whether it was frozen or not. But ours is weighed before it's frozen. And they put the weights on all these boxes in the USDA place. I didn't know that was a thing until the last couple of years, and there's been a lot of people asking me that question. They say it weighs more after it's frozen if you weigh it and then sell it. to them. But I don't see how that could be.
I don't know that either. You run into it also, customers always, when you sell it on the hot carcass weight or hanging weight, they always try to add up the weights when they get their package delivered to them when we deliver it. Well,
Oh.
you said it was 125 pounds and we only got 88 pounds. We missing a box. And then you ask them if they got, well, no, we got it all deboned and we didn't want the liver and we didn't want this and that. So that's, I said, well, there's all your weight right there. But selling it by the box and by the piece would be better sometimes than selling by the actual weight. Because even with our scales, like you said, some people weigh the package. Well, your weight says 1.02 and mine says 0.98. So why is mine less than yours? Well, I've never seen two watches or two scales that ever went to be exactly the same. So you run into that quite a bit too. So we started selling by the piece and not by the actual weight, which sometimes that helps, but sometimes you're not going to please everybody all the time.
We very seldom sell by hanging weight because of all those things you can run into. We almost always sell by packaged weight. Take what we tell them is what you're going to take home. This is how much it is per pound. I think on our website right now, what, $7.75 if it's bulk?
Yes.
Yeah, $7.75 a pound if it's bulk. But if they're buying a half a cow, that's how much it costs. So that's, 200 pounds, what, $1,500, a little over $1,500, I guess. It's a lot more than that when you're selling it 10 or 15 pounds at the time, though, you make a lot more money.
So Nancy, you asked, can you ship dry ice boxes further than your state? Yes. Depending on the amount of dry ice you put in, you can ship pretty much anywhere in the lower 48. You could probably even ship overseas too if you wanted to pay customs and all that stuff and went through all their rigmarole. But there's lots of different shipping options out there as far as amount of time it takes. I would definitely recommend testing your boxes ahead of time. We'll get into some of that here in a little while. But yeah, you can ship all over the United States, even using ground, as long as you have a well-constructed box and enough dry ice.
Do you have a ratio on dry ice per pound of meat?
No, not really. There's so much that goes into properly packing a box. And you need more dry ice the less beef you have, which goes kind of against all.
No, I can understand that.
Yeah, so and the tighter you pack a box with dry ice, the longer it'll hold. So as long as your box is sized correctly, you pack it tight, and you have, probably 2 to 3 pounds of dry ice in there, you're gonna be just fine with overnight, even probably 2-day shipping. Once you get past that to 3-4 day shipping, you're definitely gonna want 5, 7, maybe even 8 pounds of dry ice. It just depends on how far it's going, how much beef you have in there, that sort of thing.
What else you got, Lynn?
So I just wanted to kind of touch on the benefits and drawbacks of delivery. Some of the benefits, and I mean, if you're a crazy introvert like I am, it's a big drawback too at the same time, is you have very high levels of interaction with your customers. Can be great for your business. It can be great for your morale of your business too. Just because people get excited whenever you're there to deliver their beef. A lot of times, especially if you're doing pre-orders, they've waited on it, they've dreamt about what they're going to make, and they're just really, really excited to get it. It's just a great shot in the arm for your morale when it comes to delivering to those people. You also get to, look them in the face, shake their hands. You don't have quite as much buyer's remorse too, because they actually get to meet you and see how excited you are to be the provider of their beef and all that stuff. But it can be kind of draining if, like I said, if you're a crazy introvert like I am, having to deal with so many people all the time. The other thing that really is I found to be really nice is that you have tighter control over your shipping, over your time frame for deliveries or for when the beef gets to people. And you also, the beef handling stays in your control. So you don't ever relinquish control of the shipment or of the beef. You know, quality control is completely up to you. That's one of the things that you run into with shipping, is that you are going to have a box get lost. You are going to have a box that gets damaged. And it's just something that's going to happen. You try to plan for it. You try to make sure that it doesn't, but it's going to happen. We had one get lost last week. Took 5 days to ship instead of 3, and the beef was ruined by the time it got there. So we had to replace the box and do an insurance claim. It happens. But when you're making deliveries, you know, that all of that is completely still within your control. You're not relinquishing it to your shipper.
Is the mail paying out on their insurance claims?
FedEx is, UPS is not.
Huh, there's a difference.
We actually use FedEx almost all the time. They just have done us a better job.
They have done us a better job, and they still guarantee their time frames that they tell you, and they're still willing to pay out the insurance. I spoke with UPS last week because we had a customer who wanted it sent UPS, and it just wasn't going to happen because they even refused to ship it with the ground option because they weren't going to guarantee the time frame. They wanted me to pay, you know, like quadruple what the ground was in order to ship it, and the price of shipping was going to be more than actually the price of the beef that was in the box, and I just couldn't do that. So we ended up speaking to the customer and shipping it FedEx.
What I've been doing is mainly here on the farm with B&B people and piecing it, you know, pounds of hamburger, pounds of ribs, whatever, ribeyes, chucks, sirloins. But I think it's time to start expanding.
You can honestly, everybody needs to do what they want to do. We're just kind of showing y'all what we do. You can make so much more money shipping this beef because you can charge so much more. Your customer base is just starts going into the millions of people, potential people to buy your beef instead of your local market. We get to them with get out there with social media advertising and using funnels and social media advertising, which is real cheap. Only costs a few bucks a day to do that stuff. I noticed on our email a while ago, we got people ordering eighth of, I put a thing out for 1/8 of a beef a few days ago. We got people ordering those now. It's like 35 pounds we got shipped. But, you know, it's what, $387?
$387. And we ship it in one box, our larger size box.
And it was a discounted deal too. We discounted it a lot to see what people would do. And sure enough, they started, you know, people were buying it.
Huh.
And that's what I kind of said when we started this. I wanted to show people how to get over $10 a pound for your beef once it's packaged and everything. We actually get a lot more than that most of the time, but I think almost anybody can at least average that between bulk orders that are a little cheaper. You know, we get $7.75 for ours per pound on bulk, which is quarters, halves, wholes, and then we do deals out there, a lot of deals for boxes of beef with steaks and roasts and stuff in it that are around $12 or $13 a pound. Then we do a lot of stuff that's even more than that. And if they go straight to the website and just buy, which really not very many people do that, it's you know, closer to $20 a pound. I think a 8-ounce ribeye is $19.95 or something like that.
No, it's more than that.
But it's a lot. A pound of beef's over $40 when you start talking about ribeyes and strips and stuff. And we sell it. We actually sell it. So that's what's crazy about it. Lynn's looking it up.
I thought I was doing good at $25 a pound.
So yeah, boneless ribeye is $20.99.
This 8 ounce.
It's for an 8-ounce ribeye.
That's 8 ounce.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are probably from Full Blood Aberdeen. But she has it in, she might could share the screen, I don't know, but
Yeah, I can
she,
share. it.
she has it in, it's in our inventory.
So
Well, that's nice.
can y'all see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so this is our website. This is just this is where we sell the individual cuts. And you can see they're priced high. I mean, no doubt about it. We have the really like the higher end cuts up first, you know, all the steaks. Then we get down into the roasts. We're running a special right now on arm roast because we have arm roast coming out the wazoo. So we discounted them down to $7 a pound. And we're just running it on special for the next couple weeks.
Have you got a walk-in freezer to store all this stuff?
Yes, we do. We have 3 chest freezers, a walk-in freezer, and then we have freezers that we stock here in the office.
Upright freezer. We
Yeah.
got freezers everywhere.
We have an upright freezer here in the office that we stock with cuts so that whenever we're packing, we can just pull fast from that. freezer.
Go back to that ribeye picture. I wanna mention something about that. Can everybody see that picture in the middle of the ribeye with the little green things on it?
Rosemary, yeah.
Rosemary.
So that picture right there does, when we do advertisements in social media, that picture does like 800% better than any other picture we've ever used. I mean, some of the other pictures do pretty good for a short period of time, but that one consistently does. You get more click-throughs, what we call click-throughs. People go to the link and click through into the website than any other picture.
Yep.
I think Lynn may be able to show y'all a little about how that works too, how you can. But that's all the analytics that we do, so we learn a lot about what to use, what not to use.
Why do you think that picture is it?
I don't know. It always, there's always something that surprises us. You know, we think something's really great picture and it doesn't get any click-throughs or not very many. I mean, we can tell how many it gets using the analytics on our advertising, but that one there just never fails. It just always works.
Huh.
Yep. So I mean, the only thing I can figure is that it's such a symmetrical cut of beef and it looks like a ribeye. Like if you were to dream of a ribeye, that's what it would look like, you know. It just looks kind of perfect, and people just overwhelmingly respond to that one better than any other photo we've ever used. We have a couple others that work real well as well, but that one, it way outperforms the others every single time we use it in our advertising. So, but yeah, I mean, our beef is priced really high there, but we also have boxes too. So these are our boxes. They're curated boxes. They're small. They're priced a little differently for each one, depending on what cuts are in it. They kind of all have like a, you know, view of what you might get in the box. Our weekly special this week is 2 different sizes of a griller's pack for the start of spring. And we have, you know, a small bulk orders like our ground beef bundle. You know, it performs pretty well. I think it's 10 pounds of ground beef. Maybe it's a little less.
26 ounce.
21 6-ounce portion.
Y'all can see that where it tells how many ounce portions are in that box. That's very important. It really changed things when we did that.
So, and then overwhelmingly our best seller is the Best of the Beef box. It's pretty reasonably priced and it has almost all of the higher end cuts in it. So it pretty much overwhelmingly outsells everything else. And next is our introductory box. That one's just, it's very small. It's designed to be small and cheap, just to get our beef into our, new customers' hands. Repeat customers almost never go for this box. It's always first time customers that go for this box. Repeat customers come back and they buy the best of the beef box or family dinners or one of our specials.
Unbelievable. Are your boxes actually, do they come to the people labeled like that, or just, it's not with pictures like that, right?
No, they don't come with pictures like that. I'll show you the box here in just a little bit, what all we include in it and everything. Okay, let's stop share. Okay, so I guess we'll just, we've been talking about shipping, so we'll just jump into that. We've already kind of talked about the that it's really great for expanding your customer base over a large area. You can expand it out to just like your neighboring city, or you can expand it out to just your state, or next week we're opening up ours nationwide. So you can do any of it. So you can literally have millions of potential customers.
You have a question there?
I do. Oh, I'll answer Sue's question here in just a little bit about the FedEx, whether they have special shipping options or special shipping prices.
Did you design those box advertising, or did you get a company to do that?
So I actually have done almost everything myself here.
Ooh, good job.
Thank you. So I also have done photography for several years, just as kind of a hobby. Started out with taking pictures of pretty flowers, moved on to doing our cows. I take pictures of people too, for friends, their new babies, that sort of thing. So whenever we needed pictures for our beef, I just studied a lot of photos and, tried to recreate them in my kitchen. So, and some of them are stock photos too, of things that were harder to get pictures of. So, spending a few dollars on a stock photo, it ended up working out well for us. And as far as putting together all the like box, collages and stuff, I use an online thing called canva.com, and I have a subscription to them, and I am such a large believer now in Canva, because they have pre-built options for you to do Instagram posts, Facebook posts, because I do all of those myself as well. All the content creation for those. So they have pre-built things for you to do the photo collages. They have pre-built things like all of the advertising stuff, or the stuff that makes the emails and the stuff look pretty on Facebook. I did it all on Canva. It's a great resource. It's like $12.99 a month, and I literally use it like every week, 2 or 3 times a week, in order to do our advertising and marketing content.
I'm a whole lot smaller than you are, and I can't do more than probably 4 to 6 steers a year, period.
Mm-hmm.
How do we cut down on that and still able to, give people what they want? That's the trouble, is running out.
Yeah. Supply issues is a difficult task to deal with. We have been real lucky and not had to deal with a lot of supply issues yet. As far as, I mean, if you want to, I don't know, see, like Patty. Honestly, it's,
I would say if you've got supply issues, your best bet is to stick with the quarters, halves, and wholes and not try to play the online retail game. I mean, that's probably the best suggestion I would make. And that way, because you know what you're gonna have, and I mean, it may be a little difficult at first to establish a customer base, but you've got to find people with disposable income that's willing, they can spend at doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, things that people of that kind of stature. Or you try to get on something like Facebook Marketplace, but until you know what you have, it's kind of hard to know what you can sell. But if you're going to be really limited as to how many beefs you can supply a year, I think it's better if you try to stick to the small game and not try to do the big.
Yeah, I don't want to do the big game. I don't want to be caught up in this.
you know, I would even say that you could probably do like 8 shares. Or, you know, even a, 25 pounds box might work pretty well for you. And just, it's one of those things, once you're out, you know.
And that can be a good thing.
It can be.
Supply, like, we get a lot of response. Actually, we do it all the time. We put a post out there for a box of beef. And it's not just a post, but one of our advertisements, our paid advertisements, and say there's only 8 available. And we may be able to make 50, but when we say that, everybody starts buying it quickly.
Starts jumping
Like the
on.
next day, you come in and look at the email and you got 25 boxes sold.
Yeah, fabricating
Mm.
scarcity, even using scarcity to your benefit as far as your marketing will help. It just makes people feel like they have to get in right now. And in your case, they actually do. If you start selling smaller packages and go ahead and ship them out to people, just let them know, say, hey, these are going to sell fast and they're going to be gone when they're gone. So that they have to, and be like, if you want it, you better jump on and buy it, because.
Like David, pre-sales. I mean,
Mhm.
you can pre-sell all this stuff too, before it's even gone to the plant. You just probably need to have a date that it's going, but you can pre-sell all this stuff and use the scarcity that we only have 6 available this year or whatever it is. And, get yours before it's all gone, kind of thing. It can work to your advantage.
Okay, thank you.
And I talked to my processor this week and I'm already scheduling 2022 kill dates to be able to get a spot.
Mhm.
So it's getting worse and worse. So we're trying to expand in a market that's getting tighter and tighter. So it's, but on our hand, and probably Larry, you the same way, my calves that are being born today already have a kill date for 2022. I'm back in their kill date by the time they're born. So I know.
Yeah, we have ours scheduled forever. But ours are like weekly. So we know pretty much from now on, as long as they're in business, I guess, as long as we are. But we have to fill that. We got to work to be sure we got to sell that beef too. You can't let it stack up on you. You got to stay after it all the time to make sure it gets sold.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a problem. But if you have a calf born today, it's not going to be ready for at least 18 months. Surely you can get a kill date for 20 months or what out, or 2 years or what. Surely anybody could get a kill date by that time if they go to work with them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm having to schedule my kill dates for 2022 for the calves that are being born. I've already started talking to her. She gives us priority dates because we're a long time customer and, we kill 80 to 100 a year, but she's getting my dates before she opens it up to everybody else. So I'm having to pre-plan how many dates I have, which, you're trying to figure out your market, how many calves you got, how many you want to have to sell. So you got to plan ahead. You can't just say, hey, my calf's ready. Where am I going to kill it? Because then you might have him for 24 to 30 months before you can find a kill date.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Planning ahead really is crucial, to kind of know where you're trying to hit. Even if you, like, say you're a small producer and you figure you're gonna have 12, ready in 18 to 24 months, make those dates, even if you have to find a friend or somebody who wants to fill a spot for you and you end up only having 10 or 11. That way you make sure that you have the processing available for you, because it's
We work with,
definitely necessary and
we work with
part of
other,
working a good relationship with your processor.
we work with other producers that, if I don't have one ready or can't, or, which probably isn't gonna happen, but I give some of my dates to another guy sometimes, 2 other people, when if I don't have to have them.
Yeah, if we're
And then
running really high
They have
inventory.
dates scheduled by the month. I have them by the week. So I can give up, one slot or something like that to some of our friends that they need one done right now because they got one sold. We trade out is what I'm trying to say, but we make sure we cover each other's processing dates. So none of us ever lose a processing date.
Well, that's one thing I can say about my processor is that he will fit me in even though I'm paying a mint, which is probably worth it then.
It is.
It is. It's good to have a processor that's willing to do that for you. Ours will do it every once in a while, but we try not to abuse that privilege because we know that they have other customers that they have to work with as well. So James asked, how large is our walk-in freezer? And
6 by 6, I think. It's not very big. We have a lot of chest freezers too, because of these
Yeah.
boxes that we get. It's just as easy. It's actually easier to store it in a bunch of chest freezers than a walk-in, unless you get a big, huge walk-in where you can stack them, where you can walk between them.
And that's what we have. We went ahead and invested in that. One of the laws here, you can't have a chest freezer at your residence. I don't know why. It can be at your garage or a separate building, but it cannot be at your residence. So we invested the first time. Ours is 11 by 22 walk in with we got them from from Costco, the big metal shelves that holds up to, they're up to 6 foot tall with 4 shelves, and we stack on all 4 shelves, including the top rack. And then we built a new freezer, which is 22 by 30 that we can put in. We usually process all of them at one time, or used to. So we could put as many as 50 whole beef in the freezer at any one time.
that's awesome.
It's a lot.
Yeah, because we process all year and we have the ability to graze year round, we don't have to have massive amounts of storage. We still have what's considered a large amount of storage for the average person, but not just massive amounts. And we did purchase our walk-in secondhand from it's a company that actually goes into restaurants and takes out their old equipment, or if the restaurant is sold, they take out the old equipment and they refurbish it, resell it.
But they're cheap right now with all the restaurants closing everywhere
Yeah, so
and stores closing.
we were able to get our walk-in for a very, very reasonable price, and it is, you can do that. It's pretty remarkable. I think we spent maybe $1,500 on our walk-in. It
Wasn't much.
was not much at all. And we did have to transport it back here, put it back together, have an electrician come out and wire it in, but in the end, I mean, we got a really good freezer for real cheap. You also asked what cattle management program we use. We use CattleMax for our cattle management program. We were using MDI cow-calf for a long time. I liked that one, and I like the CattleMax. The reason why we ended up switching over to CattleMax is just ease of use actually out in the pasture, because they have they work with mobile devices too. So, and the MDI cow-calf, they say they do, but when I did the demo for it, it just didn't work as well as CattleMax, at least not for me. Does anybody else use a cattle management software that they really like? So yeah, we use CattleMax. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's it's pretty good. We're pretty happy with it. And the nice thing is any of us can put it on our phone or a tablet and go out in the pasture and add calving dates and weaning, or calving dates, birth weights, all of that right in the pasture. We don't have to actually just write it down and then come into the office and then be like, oh, I need you to put this in the computer, and we can do it right there in the pasture, which has really made it a lot easier on us.
What she's trying to say is I don't lose the piece of paper before I get back.
Yep.
She makes me do it with my cell phone now.
Yeah. It's such a hardship.
We either do it with a cell phone, take a picture of the actual worksheet or our shoot side or whatever. But then we also have our scale wired into CattleMax so we can download it and then upload it to the computer so you don't have to reprocess all those numbers. With little chubby fingers, that really helps.
Yeah, our scale is not that good. We haven't updated it in a while. So
We just updated ours.
so if we get a new scale in the near future, we're probably going to add that into our regimen too. It'd make it a lot easier putting in the weight, yearly weight, so we take on everything. Because right now I have to go back and enter all of those by hand myself, which is a little time consuming.
So are you
We
gonna
do that on our bull testing where we weigh them every month. And then when it comes through, it's asking you a question. You're missing one bull. Where is he at? And you look back and say, oh, I forgot to enter one, or it tells you when you're missing one from a group. So that's really handy too. So make sure you have the chance at that moment to go back and reweigh it if it didn't record it or something like that, instead of having to get them all back up. Or in our case, sometimes we have to move them a mile back to different pastures. We don't keep them close to the barn, so that's handy too.
Yeah, it is. So what were you?
you gonna share that other screen?
Oh yeah, here, just a second. Okay, so I guess let's move on to actually constructing a box. I'm going to switch some things around real quick and show y'all how we construct our boxes. Move y'all. I'll get a nice little visual tour of our office right now. Okay, so these are all the supplies that we use to construct a box. Let me get back here so I can show y'all.
You see it?
Yeah, would you move that screen around so I can actually see what I'm talking about?
Move it. Oh,
Okay. Okay, so this is our 12 by 12 box. This is our most commonly used box. We chose white because it's high visibility. So everybody, ships in a brown cardboard box. We chose the white ones. It's a few pennies more with U-lines in order to choose the white ones, but it's high visibility and they very rarely get lost. And then we use high visibility stickers on them too. We have a perishable on 2 sides and this side up on 2 sides, along with our box logo, which I print those myself. We're in talks with a guy to actually print them for way cheaper than what I can, and they'll be full color too. So, which those will end up being about, what do you say, about 19 cents a piece, I think is what they'll end up being for the printed stickers, which way cheaper than what I can produce them for. Okay, so we also, of course, packing tape. This is craft paper. These are our box liners. I'll show you how they work. These are the side liners. There's 4 of them.
insulated.
Yeah, these are insulated. These are our insulation panels. And there's one already in the bottom of the box. And in the bottom already, you can kind of see it down in there. And this is for the top. This is an insulated liner that'll go in. This is how we package our dry ice now. We switched over here recently. We're finding it works a lot better. Use some sort of plastic bag that you can mostly seal up. So This is just a Ziploc. You put your dry ice in it, you seal it up, and you cut a little slit out of the side so that it can actually get rid of some of the air or the, I guess, carbon dioxide that it builds up. And then we fold it up, put it in a brown paper sack. And then I normally roll it over a couple of times and staple it, and it's labeled that it has dry ice in it. We ended up choosing to do this way. That way people can just reach in and take it out of the box. They don't have to have, you know, a towel or a pot holder or something in order to take the dry, you know, chunks of dry ice out of the box. It's just a lot easier on our customers and a little bit easier on us as well. And then we have a dry ice warning label. And if y'all want copies of any of these labels, just let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to send them out as resources. It's our dry ice warning label. It just explains the handling instructions for dry ice, the dangers of dry ice. Basically, you know, don't lick it, don't touch it too long, that sort of thing. This is just a thank you for supporting our farm, for purchasing from us. It's just a nice little note to send out to all of our customers every time we purchase. And then we also, our website will generate a packing slip. So we generate one of these, it goes in with every order to show that, you know, what's in the box. And I normally take these, layer them together, put a paper clip on them, and then they go on the top of the box. Well, not the top of the box. I'll show you here. Just a second. Okay, do y'all have any questions about the materials so far?
The foam board, are you just getting it from, you know, the local lumber store?
Yes, so Dad goes and purchases the big panels from the lumber store.
4x8 sheet.
Yeah, they're 4x8 sheet, and he cuts them down to sizes that we need for our boxes. You can purchase coolers in boxes. You can purchase styrofoam panels. You can purchase Uline makes box liners that are a lot thicker than this, that we understand work really well. We've never used them, simply because the expense of that is so much higher. You know, the insulated box liners are like, you know, $10.50 a piece per shipment, and that doesn't include the price of the box too. You know, these are like what, $4 maybe?
That's $2 per box.
Okay.
12 by 12 box.
$2 per box for our 12 by 12 box. And you know, other insulation panels, styrofoam panels are the same way. They're just much more expensive than what we were willing to pay. And the styrofoam coolers that come in a box are even more expensive. They're like $25.
That's
Yeah,
R5.
Yeah, and this actually has much more insulation value than a styrofoam panel does. Most styrofoam is what, R3?
R3.6.
Yeah, and this is R5. So it's gonna have a lot more holding value. Any other questions?
Where do you get the insulated?
These come
Cover.
from Uline.
Oh, okay.
So our white boxes and our high visibility labels come from Uline. I make these, our logo labels, I make those myself. Like I said, we're working on getting some color ones from a guy. But yeah, these insulated liners, they're like $4 from Uline. Because it keeps everything contained. We think it helps to hold some of the dry ice a little bit longer. I know a lot of people don't use them. So, any other questions before I show you how this thing is constructed? All right, so we take our box. I normally put when I'm, you know, folding boxes and taping in preparation for actually packing boxes, I normally put the external labels. I go ahead and normally put them on then, just to cut down on time after the beef is actually packed in the box. I'll then take our side panels, which are,
You have the one inside already.
yeah, I have a bottom panel already in the bottom. It's a 12 by 12. This is a 11.5 by 11.5.
10.5.
Okay, so 11.5 by
11
10.
and a quarter to 10.5. They're 3/4 of an inch thick. So
Okay.
just turn the box this way and see how it goes in.
Okay, so they go in like that. So you see how there's a gap right here? I know it's a little hard for y'all to see, but there's a 3/4 inch gap right there. And there's also a 3/4 inch gap at the top. So, and that's to allow us to also, I'll be sure what this looks like. So we just slide that in like that. You see there's a gap down here at the bottom. And then slide the next one in, and then the next one in. And sometimes Dad doesn't get them exactly right. So you have to finagle with it just a little bit to make sure there's no gaps. But in the end, it looks like that. It does all 4 walls. And it's nice and shiny too, which our customers surprisingly like. Okay, and then after that, we put the liner in. This is a 10 by 10 liner. It just slides right in. So that's what that looks like.
Wow.
And that now we start with packaging our beef. I like to put the dry ice in first for the shipment. I normally either stand it up or set it on its side, just depends on how much dry ice is in there. And then package your beef in there. Get it as tight as you possibly can, and then fold this down over it as tight as you can get it. It has a little adhesive strip on it. So that goes down first, and then the opposite end goes down, and then your corner, and it ends up looking something like that. And I always tape all of this down as well, nice and tight.
You put the paper in.
So, and then after that, once you have your beef all packed up nice and tight and snug, if you have any space on the top like this one does, you pack the rest of the top with craft paper to take up any of that air and also to keep the beef from sliding to the top should they ignore this is the top label and turn it over. To the top. And believe it or not, this craft paper will give you extra holding time. We figure it gives us probably somewhere between 6 and 12 hours, depending on the size of the box. And it's just so that you're not, extra time. So that you're not, because the craft paper will stay colder longer than just regular air will. And then after the craft paper goes in, you have your top panel, slides right in like that. So it's nice and flush. And then I take our packing slip, just put it on top so it has kind of a nice little presentation. It's the first thing they see. And the very first thing they see is always that it's packed with dry ice and the dry ice handling instructions. Because I worry about somebody opening it and being like, oh, what's this? And then like picking up a handful of dry ice and paper. So, and then after that, you just, I'm a little anal about it. So I always fold it to where the bottom, where the tape is on this side, I make sure that on the top is on the same side. So, and then, of course, packing tape to close it up, which I'm just planning on using this box on Monday, so I'm not going to tape it. But yeah, that's how we construct our boxes. And this is our most often used size. The 12 by 12 is by far the most common size we use. Most of our, boxes that we sell are designed with this size box in mind, so that we fit, we fill the majority of this box with beef. when we ship it out. So any questions on the box? I know we've gone over it a couple of times, but I wanted to give y'all a real in-depth tour of it.
What's the average amount of weight you can put in that box?
So we normally ship somewhere between 10 and 18 pounds in this box. It really depends on what you're shipping in it. Like, 1 pound of ground beef is going to take up less space. 3 pounds of ground beef is going to take up less space than a 3-pound roast. So, if
Average probably about 12 pounds.
yeah, average is really probably about 12 pounds is what we end up shipping in this box. And most of the time we have just a little bit of space left at the top, but not much.
What is your FedEx price on that?
Depends on where it's going to. Most of the time when it's shipping here in Texas, if it's going to one of the major metropolitan areas, it's going to be somewhere around $17. If it's shipping to a rural area, it's going to average somewhere around 22.
Do you pass
That's
that
just for
price
here in
on?
Texas. Ma'am?
Do you pass that price to the consumer?
Yes.
$14.95.
Yes, so if they don't purchase more than $155, they're charged $14.99 as a shipping and handling fee. We intentionally kept it low and then added extra price or extra cost in on our cuts and our boxes in order to make up the difference in the price of the shipping and the box and everything.
If they order $155 worth, they get free shipping.
Yeah, if they order $155 worth, they get free shipping. Because $155 was our threshold. Pretty much the average shipment is, it'll pay for itself with the little bit of extra price that we added in to each cut, each box, if they order $155.
That's all on our website.
Yeah.
But there's $14.99. If they don't order $155 worth, they pay $14.99 of the cost to ship it, which it costs more than that, but that's one of the reasons you just jack the beef up real high too.
Well, and the reason why we even chose to have a shipping cost at all, instead of just adding it into the price of each cut or each box, was to encourage people to actually purchase a larger,
Fill the box up.
well, yeah, to either fill the box up or to purchase a larger value box that we have constructed instead of one of the cheaper ones. Because I mean, I know I've been there before. I know Dad's been there before. We probably all have. Where it's like, oh, well, you have this option or this option, but you have to pay shipping on this option, but this one's more expensive, but it's free. And a lot of the time, all of us have gone to the, oh, free shipping, click that button. So that's kind of where we went with that. Any other questions about the box? No.
Just
Okay.
checking again, you're shipping that express, right? Overnight?
No, we ship it FedEx ground.
Okay, just like usually 1 or 2 day.
Most of the time it's 1 or 2 day. I can hold just 1 second, Glenn. Oh, I will show you something real quick. 1 second. Okay, Glenn. Now there's this nifty thing. Let me share my screen real quick with you. There is this thing on FedEx.
Ship station.
No.
FedEx.
I know I'm doing.
Okay. I can't tell sometimes. You need advice.
Mhm. The FedEx 1 day shipping map. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick. Okay, so all I did was I Googled, you all can see the screen, right? Okay, so I Googled FedEx 1 day shipping map. The first thing that comes up is FedEx.com maps for ground transit information. Okay, so this little thing comes up. You enter your zip code, That's our zip code here. The United States is your country. Destination is a residential address. We always choose yes. And you want to choose the outbound map. God, the internet's running slow right now. So this is FedEx's delivery schedule for ground shipments coming out of our zip code. So anywhere in pink is going to be a 1-day shipment, which, you know, for us that covers Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin, Corpus Christi, and Oklahoma City. So any of those, we're going to be shipping 1 day. Just for FedEx grounds. Now, if you move to the light blue area, that's going to be your 2-day shipping. So anywhere going in any of this is going to be 2 days. Your pink or your orange is going to be 3-day, and then these lucky people are all 4-day with the light green. So that's a super useful tool that we've used a couple of times to like where is it actually going to be going, you know, 1 or 2 days.
So you can do your advertising on social media just in those states too, or just in those areas. You don't get it exact, but you can do just those states where your social media advertising doesn't go out into places you don't want it to go to. People ordering from a 4-day thing when you're not ready to ship stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what we do here is we advertise mostly in the 1 and 2 day area because we know we're very confident that we can get beef to them very easy in that time frame and it's still frozen solid. That's a huge, you know, 100 million people or whatever's in that area that you can advertise to.
So Glenn, what is your what's your zip code? Let's look at yours real quick.
001-821.
There's one too many zeros, I think.
018.
Yeah, so your 1 day is going to be pretty much just this little area right here, but your 2-day covers a pretty good sized area.
That's a lot.
So, and 2-day shipping is really easy. I mean, just another pound or 2 of dry ice in a, you know, well packaged box, and you know, you're good as gold.
When you're
Yeah,
talking,
go ahead.
sorry. When you're talking social media, you talking Facebook? I thought you couldn't sell on Facebook.
You can't sell live animals on Facebook. We do some paid advertising on Facebook. There's also groups too that cater to looking for specifically for farm raised products. So you just got to look in the right places on Facebook.
You can sell a lot more stuff on Facebook when it's paid advertising than just the free stuff in groups.
So when we are running an advertisement on Facebook, most of the time our goal is actually lead generation because to get potential customers. We then send them emails advertising our products. But while we have them in what's called our customer acquisition funnel, which is where we get their email address, we try and sell them some beef there in order to pay for the cost of advertising. And we actually end up paying for all of the cost of our advertising, the shipping of the products that we sell through there, as well as making a small profit in order to gain customers.
How do you find out how to advertise on Facebook?
So we can do a whole thing over that. We were guided by a man named Cam King, and he does customers on demand, or he has a free service called Grass Fed Secrets on Facebook. That group specializes, Cam and his business specialize in helping grass-fed beef producers sell their products. And we have a Facebook business account, and it's kind of complicated, but if you're really interested in, you know, doing paid advertising on Facebook, that's, you know, we can kind of guide you through some of that.
Can you?
I'll contact you if I need it.
A link from this shown on this thing here with the lady
If you send,
opening the box. Can you send it to them?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to do this.
how about I just include the links in the resources that I send out in the email.
Well, what we're talking about here is, I boosted one of our Facebook posts. If you go to our Facebook page, you see a lady opening, we'll call it a box opening video. And her name's Julianne. And so she opened the box and made a video of herself opening the box. And so I boosted that post and I paid $100 for 7 days. And on just, I mean, it's simple, even I can do it, so I did it. And so in 7 days, if it keeps performing like it is, we'll get about another 250 emails from people that are interested in the product. Because on Facebook, they fill out a form where I can't capture their email, and then the only problem with this is Lynn has to manually put them into our, what we call our audience, or our that we sell to. What we do is we collect emails, what you call an audience. So you're looking for lead generation all the time. Then you sell to your email list. We're not necessarily trying to sell on Facebook. We're trying to get people that are interested in our products so we can send them offers all the time, like 2 or 3 times a week.
So any other questions on the Facebook or the FedEx shipping map?
When you ship FedEx, are they picking up at your farm?
We don't currently schedule a pickup because I'm a little too controlling and want to drop it off myself. But they will come out for free and pick up from our farm. I haven't scheduled with them to do that, but the option is available. And they'll, according to our FedEx rep, they'll pick up 1 box, or if we have hundreds of boxes, they'll come out and with an entire truck just for us. So you just, when you start shipping, make sure you go in and you talk to your FedEx rep. They'll give you the number to a CPC. And a CPC is the person who's like the customer coordination person for the area. And you can ask them all those questions. But yes, they will come out and pick up the boxes from us.
My FedEx rep does a great job for where we are. We do on our other business, we do a lot of FedEx shipping, and he's actually been real helpful with getting me set up and getting me real good rates on ground and express, and even my freight shipments too.
That's good. I mean, I love our people at our FedEx place. The people I ran into over at one of our UPS, because they really rubbed me the wrong way last week. I was not happy when I was done, but our FedEx guy is great, and UPS might be great too in your area. So I would definitely look into either one. We just really prefer the FedEx people here, and FedEx is still guaranteeing their shipment timeframes, which we really kind of like to have that little bit of extra guarantee. So let me show all of y'all how we get really good rates on our shipping. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so what we use is we use a service called ShipStation. So ShipStation actually itself is a free service, believe it or not. They add just a little bit onto your shipping cost, and that's how they end up making their money. So you know, we pay them, I think, 5 cents per shipment. I think is what it ends up coming out to. So, which is nothing, but people using ShipStation generate, they've got to generate tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of labels a day, because ShipStation's a pretty popular, shipping platform. And basically what it is it's logistics management software. So here I have entered a dummy order for y'all to see. You go in and you create what's called a store. So we have two different ones here. We primarily use just the one because one of them's coming in from our funnel, one of them's coming in from our website. And both of them automatically send the orders over to ShipStation. So I don't actually have to do that. They do it themselves. And I set up that integration myself, which was pretty easy. And both our ClickFunnels and GraceCart walked me through how to do that with videos and stuff. So it was easy. So this is, open up. Okay, so this is a dummy order that I've created. Just going to a random house down in Seabrook, Texas from here. You see here where it says it validated the address. This is really important, especially when you start doing online sales, because sometimes you're going to get people who purchase your products illegally with somebody else's funds. So identity theft or fraudulent purchases. The fact that you validated this address will save your rear end, because if it's a validated address, there's no way for you to know that it was a fraudulent purchase. So, and this has saved us a few times that this address was validated. That and two other things are pretty much the only things that, that a validated address, I think the credit card information and one other thing that I can't remember, are the things that they look for whenever they're trying to say whether or not you knew it was a valid purchase or not. And the fact that we validated this address meant that every time that we got to keep the money for the products that we sent out instead of it getting taken from us.
What happens when people use a credit card to buy something? If they go to a credit card company and say it was fraud, then the credit card company takes the money from us and gives it back to the people. But with this, they can't do that. When you validate the address and you have all that information, they can't take it away from you.
Yeah, so that's one of the big benefits that we found to using a service like ShipStation, is that the address was actually validated before we sent the product out. So we knew that we have that peace of mind that we won't get caught where, they're saying we knew that it was an illegal charge, because honestly, there's not really any way we could know unless it's just on a valid address. And let's see. So it'll show your recipient information right here. I always like to have an email address so that it sends out an email to them with their shipping information. So we collect address, phone number, and email address.
This program sends these emails out.
It
When
does.
when they scan it to ship it, it does it all by itself. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, so we have our program in whenever you set up your ShipStation, you set up the address it's coming from. So, and we can choose two different ones because we have one for Mesquite Country Quail, which is another business we have. So we choose Mesquite Country Beef, you put in the weight of your box, you choose your shipping service. USPS does not send perishable products. So it's either UPS or FedEx. We almost always do FedEx ground. And then you choose your packaging. They have all the FedEx packaging and then package for just the one that you create at home. And then you put in your dimensions, and then it'll give you the price, and then it'll give you how long it's expected to take. and then you can create and print your labels. So, which I'm not gonna do because it will charge me for this dummy shipment. But then and you can also, when you're setting all this up, you can also let them know what size label that you want that you're using. So it'll generate the right size label for you. So, and if you like if you say you want to, if you don't want to use ground, you can use, standard overnight. It'll adjust it down here. Oh, no, it won't. That's asking me to log back in.
So you get when you use these programs like this one's called ShipStation. You can ship for about half price or maybe even less than that.
We get
If you just-
60% off of our shipping costs.
So 60% discount when you're using these programs compared to if you just walk in and want to ship something.
Yeah. So
Are
and
you getting charged? Are you getting charged more for shipping perishables?
No, we don't get charged additional for it being a perishable product. They don't care one way or another, as long as we have honestly, we're supposed to put dry ice labels on it and everything. Our FedEx carrier doesn't even care. And, when I talk to the FedEx people over at FedEx Express, they're like, oh no, you have to have the shipping label for dry ice. But when I talk to the people at ground, they're like, it doesn't matter for our purposes because it's never getting on a plane. So if it's getting on a plane, no matter how much dry ice you have in it, it's going to have the hazardous materials label on it. But if it's shipping ground, at least our FedEx people don't care that the hazardous materials label's on it or not. So, and ShipStation's super easy to use. The integration was really fast, and they charge us once a week for anything that we ship that week.
And they're charging a credit card usually, those apps, right?
Yes, you can set it up with a credit card. I think you can set ShipStation up with a bank account too, where they auto withdraw from your bank account.
Now, I know you guys are using Gray's Cart. What you said before, but I couldn't remember. What are you using to process your credit cards?
Stripe.
Stripe, okay.
If you're going to do this, I recommend either Gray's Cart or Shopify. And I'm not sure I wouldn't like Shopify better than Gray's Cart, but hard to change it all up once you get it all put in place.
I'm very familiar with Shopify, and I was looking briefly at Gray's Cart, and it looks like it's got some neat things already kind of set up that Shopify doesn't necessarily have. It's a little bit more expensive, Gray's Cart is.
Yes.
But I think you're getting a little bit more of like a better setup template with Gray's Cart. So, it might be easier to kind of get started with something like Gray's Cart. From my experience, I briefly looked at it last week, I think.
Yeah.
And
so
that's what I used.
Gray's Cart is a great service, but they don't have as many bells and whistles as like Shopify has. So like Gray's Cart keeps saying that they're going to add things like subscription services and stuff into it. Right now we're having to use a separate service called Subly to create our subscription boxes and then do an embedded button into our Gray's Cart page, which requires my brother to do a little bit of coding for me, HTML coding. So like I said, Gray's Cart is set up specifically for producers who want to sell off, from farm to consumer. So that's one of the great things about it is it really gives you a lot of flexibility as to how you want to sell your products.
Well, on Gray's Cart, you can put your inventory in by the pound or by the cut, or you can, you put one product in by the pound and next product in by the cut if you want to. That's the only service that you can do that with. I don't think there's any other one that'll let you do that. You gotta do it one way or the other.
Yeah. And the inventory tracking for the boxes is really nice too. So, let me show you all that. I know we're getting way off topic here, but this is actually really, I find it to be really neat.
Well, it all has to do with shipping, right?
Yeah, it kind of does. Okay, so let's see. Let's choose let's do our premium springtime grillers pack. Okay, so this is the back end of Gray's Cart. This is what only you will see. This is not what your customers will interact with at all. So you have your description, you can put pictures in the description. One of the things that I really don't like about it is you can't put a like picture carousel in for where your actual picture of your product is. I wish you could put a carousel in where it's like flipping through different photos, but you can't do that right now. You can add it to different pages on your website. You know, all of this is all stuff that you create yourself. So this is what most of your page is going to look like. You can put in your retail price, the sales price. You can put in whether or not it's on sale. You can change the tag that's on it for the sale. Like it has a tag that goes across like right here on the picture on the actual page. You can set what that is in the settings. But what's really neat is the inventory tracking. Oh, I didn't do that on this one. Hold on. I just did just the box inventory. Okay, 2x2x2 box. So the inventory. So you want to set it to track inventory on bundled items. And you have lots of different options. Just track inventory, don't track inventory on bundled items. You choose it's a bundle and that choice will show up there. Now, then it will show up with this little button right here and you choose it and it adds your numbers in here, you know, 2 sirloin, 2 stew meat, that sort of thing. Now, when you go back out here to all your products, you have an inventory out here for each of your items. Well, let's say I have, you know, let's say I have I have a flank steak in there. It's going to automatically withdraw this if somebody purchases the box.
So nobody else can purchase it and you not have it
Yeah.
in inventory.
So their inventory tracking is like spot on for Gray's Cart, which is a huge plus in my estimation. You know, we've been using Shopify for my brother's quail business, and I have to constantly update the inventory for every single thing that we sell. And we only sell eggs, but we have different package sizes. Well, I have to figure out how many of each package size that we can sell in each week without taking away from the other packages. So it's much more complicated on Shopify. Their inventory tracking is not as good if you have multiples of a product.
By the way, the quail egg thing is pretty big deal too.
Yeah, that's been working out well for James. Okay, I know that was way off topic, way off topic, but there's definitely pluses and minuses to both Gray's Cart and Shopify. You know, Gray's Cart is great with their inventory tracking, but Shopify is much prettier. Like, let me show y'all my brother's quail website. Oh no, let's just keep quail. And Shopify also gives you a lot more, you know, things that you can do with your website, which is, depending on what you're wanting to do, can give you.
Well, if you're just selling packages, bundles and stuff and not selling individual cuts, it's sure the way.
Yeah,
I think it's the way to go.
If you're just selling bundles or, you know, small packages, you know, it's the way to go. They also have more purchasing options like Gray's Cart. There isn't a way to use PayPal or QuadPay or any of that stuff. But here on Shopify, they do have integrations for all of those.
QuadPay, I think it's a big deal. I wish we could use QuadPay because you can integrate on Shopify with QuadPay and sell somebody half a beef or whatever, and they make 4 payments to QuadPay. QuadPay pays you less than, they take $1 out, and then you're not responsible. They go ahead and pay you the rest of it, and then the person has to make their 4 payments to QuadPay.
So anyway, as you can see, his website is,
Wow.
we only sell eggs, so there's not much that we sell on here. So it's just real clean and simple, and has a lot more integrations, a lot more ability to pay. So there's a ton of payment options on here. It'll even. So yeah, they have their own built-in. So Shop Pay, that's Shopify's payment option. It's kind of like Stripe. They have their own built-in credit card processor. And they withdraw the exact same amount, percentage as Stripe does. So we just went ahead and went with them to set it up for that. I mean, they have Google Pay, PayPal, they have several others too that they integrate with. So it really depends on what you're looking for your business. I would almost recommend, if you're going to be just doing packages and you don't want to do the individual cuts, to go with Shopify.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so we've pretty much covered everything that we had planned for shipping. Anybody have any stories, questions, insights, that they've experienced?
So I think David's gonna be more or less next week on grazing and stuff. You wanna talk about it a minute, David?
Yeah, what I was thinking was just try to give basic numbers and different ways of grazing, like cell grazing, mob grazing, line grazing, different deals like that depending on your area might work for you. It might not work in all areas, but some areas you can do different things. And also talking about what the cattle should look like and what they should weigh at certain times. I don't know. Sometimes I try not to look at Facebook because I get so aggravated at, somebody says something about a 2-year-old moderator bull ready for a new pasture, and the bull's weighing like 600 pounds. And I don't know. I mean, everybody tell them. I don't know that some people know the difference of what they should look like, or what they should weigh, or what they should weigh and what they should gain. You read the manual from the Lowline or the Aberdeen sites, whatever one you look at, and it says they're really good on grass fed or this and that, but they don't really give you any proof or tell you any guidelines what they should weigh, what the cattle should gain at certain times, whether you're doing grass, or we can even talk about feedlots if they want to. It just depends on what everybody wants to hear, but I was just trying to give some guidelines so people understand what they need to do. And also everybody says Aberdeens are really efficient, but the trick is you have to give them something to make them efficient. You can't just starve them or starve a profit into one. That's what my boss used to tell me all the time. You have to provide forage, good quality forage, if you want good quality gains, which, you're not talking about making them bigger or whatever, but you do sell them by the pound. Everything you do mostly sells by the pound, whether you sell them to the sale barn or whether you sell them in a package or a half. If your half only weighs 400 pounds or a whole weighs 400 pounds and your neighbor selling 500-pound wholes, he's making 100 pound, more pounds of sales, maybe for the same price that you did. So just trying to go over the numbers. It might be some, I'm not the most technical person. I may have to get Kim to help me with some of this too. But Well, I can share something with her and then she can post it or whatever, so I don't have to do the screen share or whatever. But just a couple just basic understanding, so you know what grazing and what you should expect and what those cattle should weigh at certain times of their lives.
And we have the problem around here, we don't do rotational grazing. And, you know, so in the summer here, it gets real dry and usually we have knee-high grass, but it's real hard kind of grass. And even though they're eating out of the top of it, the beef will get a bad taste when you're talking about grass-fed beef. So I have to move we have to rotate them into some pens up here where they're eating the right kind of stuff, you know, hay and with some alfalfa stuff to keep that going on the ones that we're, you know, as we're processing every week. So we have a pretty good way to know how many we need to bring in at the time, but I'm gonna keep them in there for at least 30 days before they go to the processor, usually 45 days during the summer, but I mean, every year is different, so you just got to play it by ear. The only way you're going to get grass-fed beef, a good consistent flavor, is to know your grass and know what you need to do at each stage in your grass, what you need to do with your cattle before they go get processed. I think
And we talked about that a little bit on the first meeting about flavor profiles, and your flavor profile is going to be different from ours, but if they buy consistently from you, you need to be consistent in what that flavor is and be able to ensure that by which pasture they finish on or what their management style is the last 45 days, you know, before you process them. That's very important. So just little tricks like that. That's kind of my background, what I did when I worked for the University of Arkansas for a beef research specialist. That's what we had to do was pounds per acre, all those rotational different types, you know, grazing types, grazing systems. So, I mean, that's kind of what I did, but it's able to, if you can gain 1/10 of a pound or 1/4 of a pound more a day doing something by doing it right after lunch to doing it first thing in the morning. I mean, that's free money. Basically, you're doing the same thing. You're just changing the time of day that you do it. And you can increase your gains by doing that. So that's what I have. And then whatever the questions are, we can kind of go in that direction too.
We'll get something together before, I mean, it'll be 2 weeks, so we'll get together on it, David.
Sure.
Get this thing going. I want everybody, I appreciate everybody coming and listening to us. Another thing is this thing like this box that Lynn showed y'all how to put this box together. You can buy this insulation. You can do it just the way we do it. We do it this way because it works good for us. If buying the insulation works good for you, that's what you need to do. But you can't go online and find out the information Lynn gave you today. You can't. It's not out there anywhere. It took us. This was that box right there. Believe it or not, was a big breakthrough for us in doing this, because if we didn't do it this way, it didn't seem like we were going to be able to ship beef at any kind of a price where people would even think about buying it because of the expense of the shipping. So ShipStation, like she showed y'all a while ago on the program that we use to get our price and our labels and that box, I don't give very many people advice, but I would really recommend watching that real close, because if you don't do those two things, you're not going to be able to ship beef. It's just impossible. It took us a long time to figure all this stuff out. There's nowhere to go to find it out. Nobody's going to tell you.
In the end, what we did as far as research is we bought boxes of beef or meat from several different pretty popular providers.
We bought it from 2 days away to 3 days away to 4 days away to try to see how they shipped it in. We paid a lot, bought a lot of stuff.
We
See
probably
what they're
bought
doing.
several $1,000s worth of meat in order to do research on how to construct this box at a reasonable price, what everybody else was doing in order to be able to ship their products. But in the end, it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. And we
Well, I
got
thank you for that one,
yeah.
because I didn't know how to ship, and Uline has insulated boxes, but they're extremely expensive,
No,
and
it's
I didn't have a clue. Thank
so
you.
expensive. Yeah, you're welcome. No, one of the things that we were just, when we decided that we were going to start moving into shipping, I about choked when I saw the price of insulated boxes. So I told Dad, I was like, there's no way, that will eat up every ounce of profit that we make.
That's
And
why I didn't ship.
yeah, so, and once we started like doing research into it, it ended up working out for the best.
Wants a real
with us.
smart one in the group here figured that out.
I'm the one who suggested we order from those places. Dad did come up with the panel idea. That's his
So-
big contribution to this entire thing, just by
Yeah,
the
there
way.
you go.
It was a great one.
I'm better at keeping the morale up than anything else around here. So, if anybody has any questions, ask them. There's no dumb question. If we don't know the answer, we'll try to figure it out.
Hey guys, Rodney here, South Fork Legendary Farms. A big shout out and thank you to you guys because I teach school and part of the reward is just helping other people. You know, and you guys take your time out of the day and give us information it took you years to find. I personally appreciate that. And one thing, I don't want to get into anything controversial here, but I heard Dustin in the past meetings mention that he's found a combination of cows and bulls that works for him. I know David's been very interested in helping me. And would you guys care to maybe share what works with you as far as what you found maybe in the next meeting? Say, hey, this is combination of this breed has worked really well with us, and maybe throw some names out there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that. We want to be sure nobody thinks we're bashing their genetics any kind of way.
Exactly.
We're all
Yeah.
in a different climate. You know, one of the things here is I need cattle that slick off quick because it gets hot here fast. And we're in Central Texas, and which would be completely different than the genetics David will use in where he is. Well, it might not be completely different, but some of the cattle are going to be different. One of the things I can bring cattle from David's place or your place to Central Texas in an embryo, and it just seems like that one, those will be fine. But a lot of times you ship a cow down here and she might not slick off for 2 years, may have a real hard time. But you know, there's different things that I think there's different genetics that work better. Anyway, there is definitely different genetics that work better than others.
That's valuable within itself.
Yeah, it really is. We spent 20 years making all them mistakes, and I guarantee you almost everybody has. I know David's done the same thing. No telling how many we called because it just didn't work. Or didn't do what we wanted them to do. But you know, everybody's in a different place. Maybe they'll work in a different place, you know, I just don't know. And it's like crosses. I see people, what if we cross this or cross that? Or, you know, all those crosses have been done. I mean, there's nothing wrong with probably any of them. And a lot of people make whatever they want to work. But we did all those crosses and we went right back to just pretty much straight Aberdeen or some kind of Angus mixed with Aberdeen.
We're San Gertrudis.
The Santa Gertrudis has worked good for us.
That's
We've
worked
had
real
them here
well
for
for
years
us.
too.
Longhorn crosses have worked real well for us, believe it or not. And the meat quality on those is great. We always reserve one of those for ourselves every year. So
Yeah, people, you know, people talk about Longhorn cattle want marble and stuff like that, but that's some of the best beef when you cross it with these Aberdeen, especially 2 or 3 years down of half bloods and 3/4. And that's some good stuff.
On the straight Aberdeen, do you have problems with people complaining about the size of the cuts?
We never do. I hear people that do, but we actually like it. I do anyway, because like if you're selling quarters, I'll just sell it in thirds. Our processor will do it in thirds for us. And then the customer gets more of the higher end cuts. And it works out real good for us. And you can raise a ton of full bloods or purebreds on your place. And people say, a lot of people have heard say purebreds aren't worth anything. Man, send me all of them you don't want. I love them things.
So like
I've
when
had
you're-
more people complain about how big the steak is rather than how small it is.
Really?
They'll ask for smaller size steaks because older couples mainly, a lot of the people that we sell to are, you know, we call them crunchy people. I don't want to offend nobody, but you know, higher end ski bums, that kind of stuff. And they want, you know, a 4-ounce cut. I told them 4 ounces is a kebab. That's not a steak. So
Yeah, a lot
I've
of
had more people
our really health conscious customers like the smaller size steaks too.
Well, that's
right,
what
they
we're
want
selling
it
too much.
smaller size and they don't like all that white stuff in there. That can you have any when it's more lean? Sure, I can find those.
Yeah,
So-
they're easy to come across. But no, answer to that is we don't have any problems with it. We'll do the, like full blood, it's say it only weighs 850, 900 pounds. We'll just have the steaks cut of, you know, instead of a 1 inch, an inch and a quarter. And just do some things like that and then have it done. Instead of selling them a quarter, sell them a third. They don't know the difference. It's just, you're selling by weight anyway, so. There's a
How
plus
do you
to all
sell
of
a
that.
third? How do you cut up a third?
So we average out the number of cuts. On thirds, we don't ever do cut. So anything less than a half beef, we don't do take custom orders. Just because you can't custom cut a quarter out of an animal. You can custom each half. So if they're wanting a quarter off of one of our Aberdeens, we'll just go ahead and piece it out into third. Well, our butcher will piece it out into thirds, 1/3 for each package. So
There's a few cuts that there's only 2 of, like I don't know what, some of the roasts and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, brisket is kind of the same way. We always get them cut in half. So so it works out that everyone gets some brisket, everyone gets some, you know, some. Yeah, the only things that we really don't get, you know, our thirds is we don't get like tri-tip. We don't get like hanger steak. We don't get,
Most people don't know what that stuff is anyway.
yeah, the rarer stuff, there's only 1 or 2, or there's only really 2 on an animal. Like flank steak, that most of the time we reserve that and sell it as individual cuts instead of actually including it in thirds. Just because,
Try doing a tongue into quarters.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
That's hard to do.
Honestly, most people who purchase from us, they don't want any of the internals. We sell all of our internals just by the piece online. You know, people come to us specifically looking for grass-fed internals, and
Why you won't sell a tongue anyway? It's the best piece of the cow. Eat it yourself.
I'm afraid we save them.
I tell them I'll sell them anything but the moo. That's the only thing we don't sell. We sell everything tongue to the tail. Just can't get the moo out of them.
We get people that ask for the hearts, all that stuff, kidneys. We sell all that stuff.
all of it.
Cheap meat.
Bones is a big deal now.
Bones is a big deal, and it's really starting to I mean, a lot of us who have been eating beef for a long time know that bone broth is a superfood, and that's really starting to come into a lot of these health conscious people. The high amount of collagen in it, the good, you know, fats, everything. The fact that it's really health beneficial. It's all over the place on the internet, and that's another big driver to our website is people who purchase bones. And they end up, they'll purchase, you know, 5-10 pounds of bones, and then they'll throw in a couple of steaks to treat themselves. So
Okay.
I had a guy come the other day, bought $1,200 worth of heart, liver, tongue, what else? Something else. And he had his girlfriend with him. He said, and can you throw it? I'm going to buy 2 steaks. I said, if you bought $1,200 worth of that, I'm going to give her a steak because she deserves
right.
it. So he bought $1,200 worth of internals and bought 2 steaks. Or I gave him 2 steaks.
Yeah, when we first started doing this, we actually gave the internals away. If a customer wanted them, they could just take them. But then we realized there was such a demand for the internals that we thought just was not there, that we stopped doing that.
We've been
Sure.
surprised by so many things that we thought we knew that we didn't know. And hopefully we share some of that with y'all, where you don't have to go through some of the things we went through. Anyway, if there's any more questions, be glad to try to answer.
Thank
right.
you. That was very informative.
Oh, you're welcome. You're definitely welcome.
Patty, we want you to share with us too. You have a lot of knowledge. We all know you. There's a lot of knowledge there. We probably need to get that too.
Huh. I don't know what to say to that one.
I mean, Patty, we visited you and I was really blown away by your knowledge about holistic grazing systems. I mean, and you know, all of your teas that you put on your land and all of that stuff. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. So if you ever want to share that, just let us know. We'll get you in where you can share it with everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank y'all.
Go watch your email. Lynn's gonna be sending some stuff out. Probably, I don't know, tonight or tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I'm going to eat dinner and going to bed.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Bye. Night.